praises, honor, and glory to our power Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chai Kodash, double honor to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Wherever you may be, wherever you may be, to you I say Shalom, Mashallah, Shalom. Alright, I want to get back into this topic. Actually, not the video I want to do at the moment, but we're here, so, and because it's a shorter one to get into. And this is from a random site, which most of them usually are random. But this is from Embedded. And so earlier, I was actually trying to find some more information on China and their this breaking news talking about this brain chip. Okay, so I was trying to research that, and pretty much to find out that there's two major companies. All right, one called Neura Access. I think, matter of fact, I think I wrote it down. Sure, I went down. I think I wrote it here somewhere. I need a couple ticks. I want to say I wrote it. Yeah. So yep, there are two different major chip companies. All right, one called Neural Access or Neural Access, Neuro, with capital N, lowercase euro, capital X, lowercase ess, Neural Access. Okay, and they pretty much call their chip thing system the M2 system, also known as the triple full wireless BCI system, which BCI stands for brain computer interface. And then you have the other company, which is Neurocode, which is interesting because it sounds almost like miracle. Also sounds similar to the word oracle. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get those two words on the screen real quick. But Neurocode is the one that you might have heard about, who they call their chip Neo, which Neo meaning new, right? But for them, it's is that an acronym? I believe it's called. But anyways, NEO actually stands for Neural Electronic Opportunity. All right, it's very interesting how they have opportunity as one of the words, but Neural Electronic Opportunity, which is why they call their chip NEO. All right, so let me see down here at the bottom of the screen. Define what I say, miracle. A miracle is an extraordinary, highly improbable, or scientifically inexplicable event. It is traditionally attributed to supernatural forces such as divine intervention, or colloquially used to describe a shockingly fortunate coincidence or accomplishment. All right. Also from the Merriam-Webster, an extraordinary event manifesting divine intervention in human affairs. Yeah, mainly coming from on high, from Yahweh Bashim Shah. Okay. The healing miracles described in the gospel. Oh, beautiful. And that they had that as an example. So let me also get the word oracle. An oracle is a person, medium, or agency believed to communicate with a deity. Yeah, someone like like the account with Saul conjuring up Samuel by way of the witch. Okay, she would be like an oracle. She's a medium. Okay, a necromancer, dealing with the dead, right? So this is similar, not exactly the same, but similar. Like they show you in these scary movies, they're sitting around in the at the table at the seance, all right, and they do what? All right, so a person, medium, or agency believed to communicate with the deity. It refers to the divine. But I mean, also, I guess on the right hand side, you could say the prophets of old in the scriptures were oracles because they were on a way higher spiritual level than us today. Men were regularly talking and seeing angels and things of that nature. So men have spiritual powers and everything of that nature, right? But anyways, it refers to the divine prophecies given, the sacred shrine where they are delivered, or metaphorically, any highly knowledgeable person whose advice or judgment is considered infallible. Right? Merriam-Webster. The meaning of oracle is a person, such as a priestess of ancient Greece, through whom a deity is believed to speak. how to use Oracle in a sentence. Yeah, and that's interesting because when you watch the 300 movie, what did they do? They had this chick, the see-through gown doing all this weird movement, okay, and and then whatever she said, that was the gospel. Okay, that's why Lil Nas was pissed off. He was like, man, what, you gonna listen to this? Okay, this is not real military strategy. This is not, you know what, I'm gonna take the matter into my own hands. Okay. Anyways, so yep, you have these two companies, Neural Access and Neurocode. All right, and Neurocode is the one that has popped up on the radar because the one Neo, that company or chip or whatever the case may be. But there's another one called Neural Access. All right. So yeah, so I was trying to, like I said, I was trying to find. I was actually trying to find some of these patients earlier, which when you go to the AI chat thing, and there's a lot of list of things there, which I don't have it. I wasn't going to use the whole thing anyways. And only thing I went into where they talked about this one female who was like 21 years old, I think, and then this one male who was like 19 years old. But I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's a video they played who had this guy in a chair who they called Mr. Zhang, probably not his real name. So I'm not sure if that was the same 19-year-old or is this a whole other individual. And so there was somewhere where it listed, I think, one of these companies that actually implanted 54 people, way outnumbering Elon Musk's company. All right, I forget how many it was for him, but 54 people, but it wasn't long term. These were short term implants to basically test them on the human body and human brain to see, like we always talk about, trial and error, guinea pigs. Okay, so, but now they're actually starting to move towards long-term implementations or implants. Okay, which is why they popped up on the radar and all this other talk that's been going on. And so that's how I ended up coming across this article here from Embedded. So let's read into it. So brain-computer implants, telepathy. Matter of fact, let's get those on the screen. All right, telepathy. Okay, let me. Telepathy. Telepathy is the purported transmission of information from one person's mind to another's without using any known human sensory channels or physical interaction. All right, no writing, no talking, no nothing. All right, just from brain to brain. It is considered a form of extrasensory perception, or ESP, and often features the sharing of thoughts, emotions, or images. All right, there's probably a lot more down there. So that's all we really want from there. And then okay, there it is right there. Kinesis is the supposed psychic ability to move or manipulate physical objects without any physical contact, mechanical force, or interaction. All right, which screams out what? Second Thessalonians chapter 2, the lying signs and wonders. All right, because they're with that little brain device, you're able to move a mouse with just thinking with your mind on the computer, play video games, all right, with just your brain, all right, do this, do that with just your brain, okay, and then also what plays into that, is your thoughts, because your thoughts are what, from your electrical signals, because you're tapped into this computer system, right, this device, okay, so you see why they have telepathy and telekinesis here, because this is a false form of it. Okay, they are completing these tasks, but this is a pseudo form of it. Okay, these are false miracles. These are lying signs and wonders. These are things done on the left hand side, which is why they need the technology in order to complete it, versus the right hand side where Yahushua and those that came after and before him were just doing real life miracles. See, because even Elijah brought someone back from the dead, the widow's son, right? Fire down from heaven. Moses with the miracles he did, and it was all through what? Every prophet was all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashah. Okay? And then you get down eventually to Yahweh's time, and then he passed on down to his disciples in the minute after him. See? Often used, here's Greek again, often used interchangeably with psychokinesis. The term stems from Greek words meaning far off and to move. See that? Also, the Merriam-Webster, telekinesis is the production of motion in objects as by a spiritualistic medium without contact or other physical means. All right, so we'll leave that there. Let's get into this article here. Let's see what's down here. I think I got into some of it. So, brain computer implants equals telepathy and telekinesis. That's the headline of it. And this is dated way back in February 13, 2025. You see it. See? That was last year, the beginning of last year. Okay? So we're past that year mark with this particular article here. But let's get into it. And this is a Neuralink machine. So there's something down below that I saw too. We're gonna have to find it. New developments in brain-machine interfaces are giving us extraordinary new capabilities and powers. See that right there, 2 Thessalonians 2. Powers including early forms of telekinesis and telepathy, as we just got the definitions for both. Embedded systems that connect the brain to computers are expanding what we call the Internet of Things. Now I want to click on this and go off, but let's just do this to have it on the screen. Internet of Things. Come on. Okay, there we go. So the Internet of Things, or the IoT, all right, refers to a network of physical objects embedded with sensors, software, and connectivity that allow them to collect, share, and act on data without human intervention. Simply put, it connects everyday things to the internet to make life smarter and more automated. And what is that going to lead up to? Being connected to Esau's system, right? With the MOTB. Okay, so you'll know everything about you, your thoughts, whereabouts, and everything else that comes from that. Okay, that's basically all these up to the Internet of Things, the IoT. All right. So let me see. Yeah, the Internet of Things devices connected to the internet, to what I like to call the Internet of the Mind, or IOM. So brain-machine implants and brain-computer interfaces. One of the most interesting goals of innovation research and the ultimate in embedded technology is the brain-machine interface. BMIs are computer chips and electrodes that connect the brain to computers, bionic limbs, and other devices. That's that machine right there. That's one of those they call an arm. Well, actually, I don't think that's the arm, but it's one of those machines there. All right. So it says these innovations are the first true implementation of mental telepathy and telekinesis. See, the lying signs and wonders. Imagine being able to connect our brains directly to the internet. See, the cloud, right? And to each other like we connect using smartphones. You see that? They talk about what merging man and machine. Okay, and that main way is through those brain chips. Right now, the one they want to put into your hand is so you can operate society, right? Because all cash is going digital. No more paper currency. Everything's going to be digital. Okay, they're trying to make it where everybody is a swipe of the hand because the chip is in their hand, right? But that brain chip connects you to the cloud. And you know how with phones, like if you get a new phone, okay, it'll tell you, ask if you want to save things to the cloud, data to the cloud or whatever. Then when you get a new phone, transfer and the information is where from the cloud. It's stored in the cloud, right? What cloud? All right, Esau's little system. See? So yeah, let me read that one again. Imagine being able to connect our brains directly to the internet, the cloud, and to each other like we connect using smartphones. All right, back to the advertisement. Instead of typing messages on our phones and laptops, we could think chat. Think chat. Okay, and they gear people up for that. Because when they put the voice response things, right, where you can hit Siri or Gemini or whatever and say what you want to say, and then it brings it up. Okay, that's part of the conditioning to take it to the next level. All right, to make it where people's brains just do all the connection. All right, no words need to be used. Okay, no words at all. All right, and they probably got one of these talking about alien disclosure and all this. They probably got a fake, thing that they done made in the lab. Some robot, Nordic, who got this technology All right, and then they're gonna say we spoke with it, we spoke with it, and it was telepathic. We had to put it on the computer so we could figure out what it was saying. Don't believe it. Now I'm not saying they're gonna do that, but I'm just saying, don't put it past this man. Okay, he'll do anything to deceive you. Anyways, getting back into it. Instead of telling Alexa or Siri, I just mentioned a couple of those. All right, but they mentioned those first go rounds, Alexa and Siri, or an AI assistant. What you want? I see. I just said that. I should just kept reading. See, you could just think it. All right. What do you mean I never killed anyone? I don't need to kill anyone. I think it. And with a smart brain interface, you can control all kinds of devices with your mind. So this is what they're trying to, do. All right. But see, this is the marketing strategy, because ultimately, they just want to dress up real nice and cute. The idea of them having full control over you. That's basically what they're doing. All right. You taking, whether it be the one in the hand or the one in the brain, they're dressing it up nice and cute with a cute little pink dress on, a little tutu, okay, to cover up the fact that they just want to gain access to your body and your mind and have control over you permanently, because they want to be God, right? It says this innovation is well along and has a great chance of succeeding because it's being developed by Elon Musk, arguably the world's most successful innovator. The idea for a brain-machine interface was inspired by a real-world need to provide new ways for paralysis victims and amputees to control bionic limbs and access computers, smartphones, and other devices. See that? So these people can't do it. So we're off to save the day and give them a way that they can actually do these normal things that the other people can do that they can't. Um, and there's a lot here. I think this article is pretty long, but I don't want to be that long. Let's see a little bit of this. Types of BMIs. Currently, neurotech scientists and medical workers are developing three basic BMI configurations. Neural chips and electrodes are surgically implanted in the outer layer of the cerebral cortex, which controls communication and movement. Implants located on the surface of the cortex, which is designed to avoid brain damage and other safety issues. And that's the problem everybody keeps running into. Right? It's dangerous. So we need to find out how we can implant people without it being dangerous. Or why don't you just stop trying to implant people? That's never the idea, right? Deep brain implants are required to treat diseases and injuries affected by deeper regions of the brain, including memory loss, seizures, and psychosis. Yeah, they got computers, AI, whatever, doing surgical things. I saw an article. I didn't read it, but I saw an article where there was an AI vaccine or something. I probably shouldn't have said that, but AI. Damn, I'm almost damn near scared to say medicine, but whatever it was, all right. So it's all this madness, man. But the average person, ain't smart enough to see what they got going on here. Okay, they just, like we just read, the Internet of Things connecting you to their system. All right, and you're gonna be attached to the cloud, and they have access to that cloud memory storage. Okay. Um, Leading BMI developers. Neuralink, the leading neurotechnology company, is Neuralink, which was formed in 2016 by Elon Musk to develop brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, to connect the human brain directly to external devices. Neuralink's N1 system, named, there you go right there, telepathy, right, is implanted in the outer cortex of the brain, which controls communication and motion. See? And there's a picture of it right there. Of course, it's not the full ins and out of the chip, but it's just showing you the layers and how it's constructed. Okay, and then it'll attach to your brain, and there you go. Um, the Neuralink brain chip is implanted with thread-like electrodes attached to neurons using a surgical robot called R1. The robot, yeah, because the surgery is too tedious for human hands, so they need a robot that's more stable and more precise. Okay, and they can get into that nook and cranny, because this device is very small. Those wires, anyways. Okay. The robot can attach 64 electrode wires to neurons in as little as 15 minutes. The telepathy system reads and writes information and communicates wirelessly. All right, was that Karagma? Okay, um, which of course both are mentioned, the hand chip and the brain chip. But going to the word charagma, all right, in there you get to the root word grapho, which means to write. Okay, all types of information about every individual will be all on that. That one device that they want to plant into people's hands, and the brain chip is just like the next level of all of that. But people don't necessarily need to get the brain chip. They need people to get the one that goes into their hand. All right. But if they take the brain chip, that's still a step forward from them. Okay. So Esau's got it. He pretty much got it all planned out. Neuralink's first U.S. clinical trial, called PRIME, was approved in May 2023. PRIME stands for Precise Robotically Implanted Brain-Computer Interfaces. Yeah, PRIME, right? Optimus Prime, right? No, that's not what it's talking about, but come on, man. Precise Robotically Implanted Brain-Computer Interface. In February 2024, Elon Musk announced that the first patient fitted with the Neuralink implant was able to control the computer mouse with its mind. Yep, there was Nolan Arbol, right? In November 2024, Neuralink was approved to start a clinical trial in Canada. Yeah, I remember reading about that. In January 2025, Musk reported that 3 patients had received implants and all were performing well. Yeah, and by this point now, they said they were trying to go globally and just expand, right? So they're working hard. Um, I didn't expect this to be here. Like I said, I only skimmed through some of this. There was something down here that I wanted to read. Lord willing, I'd be able to come across it. Um, so yeah, there you go. There's Neural XS that we talked about earlier. One of these two major Chinese companies. There's Neural right here, Neural XS, and then there's Neuralink. All right. Um, so Neuro XS is a Chinese BCI brain computer interface developer based in Shanghai that has demonstrated a brainwave detection and control system called M2. There you go. All right, M2 includes a brain chip, flexible neural electrodes, and a surgical robot called Flex Shuttle. You see, they need those robots, all right, because they can't do it themselves. They need the robots to do the implants, man. All right. Um, so their robot is called the Flex Shuttle. Neural XS has demonstrated the use of thought to operate a robotic arm and related AI functions. In January 2025, Neural XS announced several achievements, including using BCI for Chinese speech decoding and expression and enabling patients to control software, pick up objects with a robotic arm. Okay, it says, and hold on, rub my eye, excuse me. Um, Operate a digital avatar. Oh, wow, a digital avatar through speech, just like the Avatar movie. Okay, through speech and converse with an AI model. Now, I'm not saying it was anything like the movie, but it just immediately that comes into thought. But it's definitely not talking about that same thing or whatever. Okay. The future of neuro innovation. The future of BMIs and BCIs include direct thought-to-thought telecommunication. See, light it up for you. Light it up. Thought-to-thought telecommunication. These are part of their ideas of giving people powers. Right? Elon Musk boasting proudly talking about Jesus like whatever the heck he said, Jesus like powers or something like that. I think that's what he said. All right, giving people this. They're telling people that they're giving you powers. Okay, and they're lying to you. They're giving you their technology that links you back to them, and their technology is able to do certain things that they can tell you is called powers, but it's not really that. It's a lying sign and a wonder. Okay, it's a left-hand miracle, right? So it says thought sharing between individuals and groups. So a group chat, right? So person to person or group, and just like you have what now, group chats, right? Somebody might be talking to their friend over here, and then another friend wants to tag in, so they create a group chat. But this is thought to thought group chat, because you're thinking of what you want, and then come on, man. And various forms of telekinesis, moving things with your mind. Okay, the field of neural innovation could become a multi-billion industry within a decade. Yeah, and that's one of the things I believe was mentioned in that video we played, you know, earlier. I guess about this time yesterday. All right, thousands of dollars are going to bring in. This amount of money is going to come in. This amount of that's all these people care about, money, right? Okay. So it says eventually brain implants, because they don't care about the people themselves. Eventually, brain implants will allow workers to control industrial machines with their minds. Oh yeah, this is it. This is it. Because I think I mentioned this also. Soldiers of the future will use thought control to direct combat drones and other weapons to battlefield targets. This is also something that they want to do. They want to implant soldiers. Okay, now they can control drones with their minds. I guess they're too lazy to hold the controller. All right, or sit from the room and and do it. They could just control the drone with their mind, right? And then think about putting them on some exosuits. So now you got a super strong super soldier on the field who can control drones with his minds and all these types of things of that nature, all right? And then and they have more than just like the flying drones that you usually hear about. They have other drones, robots that roll around. Okay, they might get connected to the robot dogs or something like that. Who knows? All right, drones are bigger than just the ones that be flying and stuff, right? You know. Um. Anyways, but that's the usual when you hear about a drone, though. You need to make that point clear. Usually when you hear about a drone. But anyways, so yes, soldiers of the future will use thought control to direct combat drones and other weapons to the battlefield targets. Oh, uh, what's that one? Um, Man, if I could think of one of their names, the one of the Williams brothers and the other cat that played Gambit, and he played uh, uh, I think his name was Duke in the movie. Dang, why can't I think about it? And I remember that cartoon. I never liked it when I was G.I. Joe. I never liked it when I was younger. I never watched G.I. Joe, but I remember G.I. Joe. So the same thing they showed you there, because I just mentioned exosuits, doing this, doing that. Okay. Now, once again, I'm not saying this is exactly what is coming to play or coming to the battlefield, but this technology is in line. Basically, what's the word for it? Predictive programming, right? That's why they show you so many things in their movies. Okay. So you can see actually what I know I'm not the best of my words. I'm trying to get it out. So soldiers of the future will use thought control to direct combat drones and other weapons to battlefield targets. Students could be fitted with implants to give them an advantage in school or help them learn faster. Yeah, I saw an article. I didn't read that one either, but I saw an article where it says that college students are getting dumber or something like that. Which I could believe it, because when you look at the students today, middle school and all these younger levels of school, man, the way that they got these children learning today is like, how, especially like math, like how in the hell do they learn this stuff? Like, why you even switch the way that we? Because they're not intended to make these kids smarter, all right? They intended to attach them because they know all about devices and stuff like that. But when it comes to school, all right, nobody's passing, nobody's learning, nobody's smart anymore. Okay, teachers are crying out. I've seen several videos about teachers crying out that the students are stupid, they're dumb. Okay, the no child left behind. Wait a minute, you're supposed to know what you know in order to pass the grade level, but we're gonna pass you anyways, right? So all these different things. Okay, goes to show you that they only care about gearing you towards their future system to come. Okay, and not growing up in this society and becoming this, that, and the third thing. All right, which the kingdom of heaven is coming anyways. But I'm just making a point. All right, they're not intended for people to be smart thinkers. All right, they're intending you to be the guinea pig that I want you to be. Okay, and that's why so many younger individuals know so well how to work, electronics and things, but when it comes to school, they're not smart anymore. And so I really did see an article about college students being dumb. Now I don't know how true it is. I'm just telling you the article that I saw. All right. So it says social networks might evolve into an internet of the mind. The potential to combine brain interfaces with artificial intelligence is also opening new possibilities that are just beginning to be imagined. And eventually, to get on these platforms, you're going to need to be able to identify yourself. All right. So at some point, they're going to make it to where the ministry is not going to be able to be on the line or the YouTube or whatever, because you're going to just play into the famine of the word. All right. Because everything is going to lead up to you being identified. You being identified is going to connect to you are either in the system or out of the system. It's clean cut. Okay. But continue with the. Okay, so this article wasn't as long as I thought it was. It must have been another one I saw. So yeah, embedded. So we probably could have read the other stuff, but that's okay. We didn't really need that. We got all the points off. All right. We got all the major points off. Okay, and so going back to the top, actually we did come down pretty far. There you go. So this was from Embedded. So brain computer implants equals telepathy and telekinesis, and it's very interesting because not only did Neuralink pop up, which I figured that would, but also popped up what the heck was it called? Neuro Excess. Okay, and then we also talked about Neurocode. Okay, you know the other companies there. As a matter of fact, I'll type in Neurocode down here. We'll close it out. All right, because this all plays into Revelation 13, which we didn't pull it up, but we've been pretty much quoting that, hinting at that anyways. And as the scriptures say, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right, it's Neurocode. I saw China. Yep, Neurocode generally refers to Neurocode Medical Technology, a Chinese neurotechnology company that made global headlines by securing the world's first commercial approval for an implantable brain computer interface, or BCI system. All right, that has been one of the talks as of late. Okay, there you go. And I guess I pulled that one up too. Was it Neuro Excess? Neuro X. There it is right there. All right. Neuro XS is a Shanghai-based computer. Notice the logos there. All right. It always looks some similar to like infinity signs, but not quite like a DNA, like a double helix. Okay, but these logos be weird. Anyways, a Shanghai-based brain computer interface startup that develops minimally invasive, fully implantable neurotechnologies to treat neurological conditions like paralysis, ALS, and epilepsy. All right. The company's technology is designed to interpret brain signals in real time. And we're not going to read the rest because I know there's some more down there. But basically, we quoted what we need to quote, Revelation 13, as well as 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. All right, those 9 signs of wonder. All right. So this is everything. There's some video links right there. All right. So this is some of what's been going on as of late. All right, a talk that has come out as of late. You know, so it's basically kind of some breaking news, really, because this is they're you see these people are moving forward, right, with the system, but you really them being controlled in their lot to move forward with prophecy. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Lord willing, you edify. Shalom.